Hello everyone, my name is Pavel Antonov and this is the No BS Crypto channel. For today what I got for you guys is the following. First we have this tweet about the Bank Policy Institute commenting on PayPal, and here is a Google research of what the Bank Policy Institute is and where they are based. And there have this article, beware of the Kraken. So they're pretty much warning their customers about Kraken and how their full reserve bank is actually very, very dangerous. Then we move on to the fact that the wrapped Bitcoin on Ethereum enters the top 20 tokens. We see it here in the screenshot on the 19th place. What does this mean? We move on to Germany enters deflation. The negative interest rates are today a reality in Germany. And just last week we covered the fact that we have a the Central Bank of UK sending out letters to the banks, to the commercial banks in UK, asking them, are you ready? Have you prepared for the negative interest rates? Then we move on to Kevin Hart goes from voodoo Bitcoin money to it's legit in 20 seconds. What is this about? And then Chamat says, after PayPal's news, every major bank is having a meeting about how to support Bitcoin. It's no longer optional. Does anybody know how I can find someone that can trade their gold for Bitcoin in Lebanon? And this is a very interesting, pretty much use case of Bitcoin and how it is in their need right now in a lot of countries. Then we move on to Russia's central bank unveils plans to test digital currencies, and we finish with the fact that at the moment, here are some graphs on monthly chart. Bitcoin is looking very, very stable right now compared to 2017 when we broke this level. We were in a quite exponential growth that was unsustainable for too long period of time, and right now we are at the very beginning of the bull market. If you want to hear my commentary on all of these, see you in just a bit. Alright, so let's start with the someone scared. Degen game for fractional banks. Full reserve banks are dangerous. So at the moment, the banking system works on a fractional reserve banking, which means that whenever you deposit $1,000, what the bank has to hold is $100, and then it can lend to someone else the other 900. And when they take that loan and they deposit in the bank has to keep only 90, and the other 810 it can loan to someone else. And pretty much the math goes that for every $1,000 that you deposit, the bank pretty much like prints out of nowhere 10k. You can Google this. It's a very fascinating fact about how the banking industry works right now. So here is the tweet about from the Bank Policy Institute. They're saying treating payment tech companies like a full-fledged banks can endanger customer deposits. So as we covered last week, what Kraken got is a license for a full reserve banking. What this means, it is much easier to get a license. However, it's under a lot more regulation and scrutiny, because you have to at any time, if the authorities ask you, okay, you have these deposits on your balance sheet, show me where you're keeping these deposits. I want to see them. And you have to show all of the deposits. So having this license actually is a lot more, keeping your money in a bank like that is a lot more secure than fractional banking. Here is a Google of what the Bank Policy Institute is, and here is their website, and they pretty much have, this is on their homepage, beware of the Kraken. And here is a long article where they're pretty much telling you that Kraken is very bad, what they're doing is very shady, you shouldn't trust them, and they're a tech company, not a real bank, and how pretty much you're gonna lose all your money if you start banking with Kraken. That's it. I'm just gonna move on, and the only thing I'm gonna comment is the following. First, they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you. Here's where we are, and then you win. Moving on. Wrapped Bitcoin on Ethereum enters top 20 crypto. So pretty much, as we know, the current model of Bitcoin is that for every 10 minutes we get a block, and this block has 2 megabytes of space. On that 2 megabytes of space you can get around 2000 transactions. Sorry, 1 megabyte of space, and in that 1 megabyte you can get around 2000 transactions, and depending on the transaction obviously it's going to be less or more and that's it. So this means again it's about 3 to 5 transactions per second, which is nothing compared to the thousands of transactions that Visa can offer. However, this is by design, because this way we're keeping the blockchain small, we're keeping it as decentralized as it can be, as it's being propagated across multiple nodes across the whole world. And if you increase the block size as Bitcoin Cash did, what happens is the blockchain size will increase significantly, and it's going to be more prompt to spam attacks, meaning that you can put meaningless transactions, only some meaningless transactions, which is going to fill up the blockchain. It's going to become much bigger, and then we're going to have a lot fewer nodes, so the cryptocurrency is going to become a lot more centralized. However, due to wrapped BTC, which is pretty much you deposit your Bitcoin in a certain smart contract, and then you can use this wrapped BTC as collateral or trade with it or whatever, exchange it. This is like a layer 2 solution, meaning you outsource the chain transactions to someone else. Pretty much all this means is that there is a lot of adoption on this, and soon enough we will have a lot of scalability on Bitcoin thanks to voodoo magic like this one. Moving on, Germany enters deflation. That's it. I have nothing to comment. Just this is craziness. Let's ask ourselves the following question: how many Germans will be fine with this? Will be fine paying banks for holding their money on top of all the fees they're collecting anyway? This is unacceptable what's happening right now. They're saying spend. You have to spend your money. You cannot save. You have to put it somewhere in a risky investments in order to be able to not pay these negative interest rates. That's insanity what we're living in right now. That's what it is. Kevin Hart goes from voodoo Bitcoin money to it's legit in 20 seconds. One of America's most famous comedians, Kevin Hart, has given us what will become an iconic TV moment for encapsulate something about the advancement of the still new cryptocurrency technology. So pretty much they're getting these calls here and they're collecting money for the non-profit for MDA research. And what's happening here is that pretty much Kevin has he's being asked, hey Kev, I got someone who wants to know if we do Bitcoin, Ethereum, with any other cryptocurrency. And Kevin Hart in his comedical act, he says, if we do what? I don't take that voodoo money. We don't take the voodoo money, okay? So if you are not there trying to give us the voodoo money, we don't. And then he's being talked to into the earpiece and says, what? We do take the voodoo? We do take, hold on, this actually, hold on Jay, don't hang up. And he says pretty much that, again, he just repeats what he's being taught in the earpiece, legitimate investment, that's worth almost 250 billion. And he's like, okay, all right, we do take it, yeah, yes Jay, we take it. So, long story short, what's happening here is that this is the audience of this show is going to be not of us, the crypto people. It's going to be people who are completely unfamiliar with cryptocurrency or might have heard about it on the news and so on. You might have heard bad things like Bitcoin is drug money. It's used only for any illegal activities, and it's used only from criminals and so on. And then they hear this non-profit is taking the voodoo money, the criminal money, because apparently it's a legitimate investment and it's worth 250 billion. That's it. It's just good. It's very good news. The more of these non-crypto related coverage that we get, the faster we'll get to the early adoption state, as right now we're still into the early inventors. So after PayPal's news, every major bank is having a meeting about how to support Bitcoin. It's no longer optional. There is still a lot of banks that do not allow its customers to send money to crypto exchanges or to receive money from the crypto exchange. I've personally, just a few months ago, I tried to cash out some profits and I was unable to. My bank says, I'm sorry, I'm refusing the deposit. This money is crypto money. We don't take crypto money. And in the same bank, I went just recently, like last week after the PayPal news, and I literally told jokingly to the employee, I said, "Did you hear about PayPal?" And she's like, "No, what about PayPal?" And I said, "They are heavily going into crypto. They're going to allow buying, selling cryptocurrencies, and they're even acquiring crypto companies like BitGo." And I said, "I'm actually concerned you might go bankrupt soon if you don't start dealing with cryptocurrencies." So all jokes aside, though, the same way I felt about Micah Sewa and MicroStrategy buying cryptocurrencies, in this case Bitcoin, and putting it on its balance sheets as reserve money for the company, I felt like a lot of other companies will follow suit, because if you're a smaller company and don't have the money to research into it and do diligence as MicroStrategy did, then you might be like, do you know what? If they did it, maybe it's not a bad idea that we do it. Maybe not with 100% of our reserve, but I don't know, 10%, maybe 20%. Let's do it just in case. If they're doing it, it might be for a reason. The moment a second company does it, it will be easier for the third one, it will be easier for the fourth one. The moment 10 companies do it, more people will follow it, more companies will do so, just because, you know, there is a trend. Maybe it's for a good reason. The herd mentality thing, you know. Sooner or later, people will start realizing what exactly is Bitcoin, why it's good, and so on. But all of this coverage, all of this more and more people and companies getting into it will help people for the wrong reasons, kinda, to get into it. But it's better to get into it for the wrong reasons and then discover the correct ones than not to get into it at all. Does anybody know how can I find someone that can trade their code for Bitcoin in Lebanon? Lebanon is there since their currency has lost more than 50% of their value this year. The banks are even not allowing withdrawals anymore. My friend's father has most of his life savings in form of physical gold. It's 6 figures worth of USD. So this means 100 to 900, $100,000. So he wants to transfer the value out of the currency, but for obvious reasons he cannot fly. They're going to stop him on the customs. He cannot trust the shipping services due to corruption. So best way is Bitcoin. And that's the reality. Maybe you're living in US, maybe you're living in UK, maybe in Canada, maybe New Zealand, maybe Germany, maybe anywhere in Western Europe, maybe in Asia. And you might not have a currency crisis, but for a lot of countries where there is a currency crisis, where the inflation is at crazy levels, where you might have not experienced in your lifetime, and you cannot just imagine what it means if you have, let's say, I don't know, $10,000, and by the end of the month you can purchase $5,000 worth of goods, and next month it's gonna be 2,500. So that's horrible situation to be in. How do you protect yourself? How do you leave the country with your money, having in mind that the bank does not even allow you to get your currency out? Just the other day there was this tweet by Max Kaiser where he shows he retweets another tweet where they are showing how the authorities are cracking down on exchanges where people are just trying to buy US dollar to protect themselves from inflation, but they cannot because these places are being shut down like they're some criminals. Anyway, so Bitcoin, going back to Bitcoin, according to Google Maps, there are 2 Bitcoin businesses that offer services in Beirut, and he's linking the 2 websites, and also he says there's 12 plus jewelry and gold dealers in Beirut where you can sell the Bitcoin, you can sell the gold, or you can go to a jewelry shop and just literally again sell the raw gold. Good question. Tell your friend's father to go and ask Peter Schiff about it. That's always talking about how gold is the best form of money. Buy gold, gold's gonna protect you against inflation, against everything. What if you need to leave the country? How do you take the value with yourself? You literally cannot. That's a big drawback of gold today. So thank God, literally thank God for gold and for this innovation that started 10 years ago. Russia's central bank unveils plan to test digital currency. The pilot test phase of the digital ruble could be launched before 2021 expires, before the end of the next year. In our opinion, there should be a stage of piloting with a limited number of users. That's such a bullshit, because here is the thing. The digital yuan, as we covered just last week, have been released right now in China, and what's happening is that they offered, what was it, like 2 million worth of USD in digital yuan, and they given it to 50,000 Chinese citizens to spend in around, what was it, 3,000 different shops to take it. And again, the comment was like, it's easy to use as any other form of money in China, and meaning using WeChat or just cash or there. And the thing is though that he said that the customer that was cited in the article said that he would use the currency that gives better offers in terms of any discounts or whatever. But the thing is that while we have kind of decentralized banking system, we have different banks. If a certain bank says, you know what, we don't like you anymore, we don't want to bank you, you can go to the competitors. However, the moment we all go to a central bank digital currency and the only bank we bank with is the central bank, we are really effed up. The moment they don't like you, you're on the street. The moment there's cash bans and cash doesn't exist anymore, again, thank God for crypto. If there was no crypto, there was not gonna be any alternative whatsoever. Moving on to the article, the head of Russia's central bank also stressed that it's not the goal of the digital ruble to replace the paper money. We do not set the task of ousting some kind of money. It will be in fact the third form of money along with cash and non-cash, meaning that you still be able to use paper money, you still be able to use the current banking system. They will just offer you an additional third part of money. In terms of data privacy, the digital ruble will have no feature of anonymity. Of course it won't be. There won't be any, because you have to provide your ID card or your passport and your phone number and date of birth and where you live and who's your parents and who's your children and everything else. It will be total surveillance and total control. There will be no anonymity in the sense of that there is in cash when you transact, because cash is just between me and you. No one else knows about it. With this money, they will know everything, but it is assumed that confidentiality will be strengthened. Maximum confidentiality is the main task when introducing the digital ruble. Yes, there will be confidentiality. It will be only me and you, and by you I mean the government. Me and the government will know who I am, but of course that only me and them will know how much money I have in my bank account, because it will be with them. But of course. But yeah, overall, that's scary to me. CBDC, central bank digital currencies, are a very scary thing. What's happening right now in China? The total control, everyone being afraid of speaking against the government. This will be the future norm unless we adopt decentralized cryptocurrencies. Moving on to this graph that shows how pretty much I'm personally extremely bullish, because we see how we have this steady growth of the price of Bitcoin, and how in the near future we will be able to cross this line. This is the monthly chart, cross this line and continue the uptrend in a steady incline that is sustainable and not happened in 2017. So sooner or later we'll have this exponential growth that we had here, and we'll have a bubble and we'll burst and we'll have a correction, massive correction. However, what we're experiencing right now is a very, very healthy and steady growth. I just can't wait. I can't wait to see what's gonna happen in the next 12 months. And if you like my commenting, and if you like the channel, like, subscribe, click that notification bell, and as always, see you tomorrow.